So I gotta have some action. If I just sit around and thought only about training for a Mr. Olympia contest, I would go crazy. So I like being competitive in business, in my social life, and everything that I do. I like doing what they say can't be done. But there's a lot of guys chasing me. You know, it's the sport of bodybuilding has grown tremendously, and so have the number of competitors. So yes, I do have a lot of added competition that Arnold didn't have to face during this era. But even if you were to put Arnold in this era, he would still reign supreme next to Lee Haney.
All right, guys, Mikey here from Mikey's Iron Rage. And guys, I got another banger for you today. And we're going to take it back to the 1991 Mr. Olympia, and we're going to do it on Lee Haney, baby. One of the best bodybuilders to ever step foot on a bodybuilding stage. I mean, he was matched with the class before there ever was a Kevin Levrone. Because him being 5'11", 255 pounds, around there, that was one big dude for the 80s and early 90s. But if you guys didn't know, back in 1990, a year before this, it was drug tested, the contest. And obviously Lee Haney placed first, but I think that Sean Ray was the better man in 1990. Even Lee Labrada looked better than Lee Haney in 1990. And you want to know why? Because they have an unbelievable set of genetics that they don't even need any gear to look their best. Because not for nothing, Sean Ray and Lee Labrada did look a little bit better than Lee Haney in 1990, but bodybuilding politics really suck. I say it all the fucking time. But he was at his biggest here in 1991, but I would say 1987 was his best showing. The 1987 Mr. Olympia was definitely Lee Haney at his all-time best. Then I would say 1992 was second best. But Sean Ray, I tell you, what a set of genetics on that guy. He was on in the early 90s and early 2000s even. But he wasn't better than Lee Haney even on his best day. But he was a close second to Lee Haney in the early 90s and even 1988 when he first became an IFBB pro. He looked pretty good there. Then 1989, he took off that whole year, came back in 1990, and like I said, looked fantastic, even though it was a drug-tested competition. But I digress again. But I say it all the time, bodybuilding politics really suck. It's more of a popularity contest than anything. That's the way I feel. Now, guys, back in 1991 at the Mr. Olympia, you had Lee Haney, who placed first, Dorian the Shadow Yates, who placed second. He was an up-and-comer, and he won the Mr. Olympia the next year for the first time in 1992. Then third place was Vince Taylor. Vince Taylor, wow, what a physique on Vince Taylor. He had such a physique and a very long career. The guy competed up until he was like 52 years old. Then fourth place was Lee Labrada. He always looked good in the 80s and early 90s. Sean Ray placed fifth. And he looked really good in 1991. I like the 1991 version of Sean Ray. Then sixth was Sonny Schmidt. Seventh was Francis Benfato. Eighth was Thierry Pastel. Ninth was, I can't pronounce his name, and 10th was Rich Gaspari. So Rich Gaspari definitely slipped in placings because in the late 80s, like 1986, 1987, 1988, even 1989, Rich Gaspari was placing in the top three. What a physique on him. But he fell to 10th place in 1991. And I think that was his last year competing at the Mr. Olympia contest. But look at Lee Haney, though. My God, he's even got a vacuum. He's super shredded. Oh my God, what a nice V-taper. I mean, just a great front lat spread, and he always had a great back. Nice big set of arms and great quads. And you guys got to remember, this is the early 90s. And like I said, 1987 was definitely the best performance he ever put on. And he was just super big. Guys back then just couldn't compete with the size of Lee Haney. It's not like nowadays where guys come in at 275 to 280, 290 fucking pounds at 5'11", because he is pretty tall. 5'11" is pretty tall for a bodybuilder. But for 255 pounds at 5'11" back in the day, that was a big dude. And that's why I say he was masked with the class before there even was a Kevin Levrone. So guys, let me know what you think about this awesome video footage of Lee Haney at the 1991 Mr. Olympia. And if you like the video, guys, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, just tickle that Kevin Levrone icon button. Mikey's Iron Rage. Peace out, guys. And I hope you really enjoyed this awesome video footage. I know it was a quick one. Peace out, guys.